Hello, boys and girls. All right, so today what we're going to do is we're going to practice applying what we've learned about um, expository writing. So, what we're going to do is we're going to read this article. It's called Act of Rebellion in Boston Harbor. And when we're done reading it, we're going to go through all the critical components of a news story and to make sure that our article has all of those things and to pick them out. Today, I'm going to do it with you. So, you're going to have to split your screen again, like we've been doing, and you're going to watch the video in one and then write uh, in your document for today what you are what we're writing. And then tomorrow, which is Wednesday, you are at home, and what you're going to do is you're going to do the next article on your own. Okay, so today I'm going to model how we are going to do this. All right, so here we go. Let's dive in. It says, on the cold night of December 16th, 1773, a band of American colonists boarded British ships in the Boston harbor to fulfill a mission of protest against another English tax on the colonies. Approximately 50 members of the Sons of Liberty, a political organization, boarded 3 British ships in the Boston harbor. The act of rebellion was led by Samuel Adams. Some were dressed in American Indian costumes. All were part of the rebellion. In a fairly orderly and quiet fashion, the men tossed 342 chests of Darjeeling tea into the sea. The Boston Tea Party was organized in protest of the British tax policies. It was one act in a wave of resistance throughout the colonies. For a number of years, England taxed the colonies on everything from sugar to playing cards. The passing of the Tea Act in 1773, which required colonists to purchase only British tea, prompted the Boston Tea Party. The newest was intolerable to many colonists. In Boston, the colonists took matters into their own hands after the British ships carrying the tea refused to return to England. While protesters had successfully prevented the overloading of taxed tea in the 3 other colonies, the royal governor Thomas Hutchinson in Boston refused to allow the tea to be returned to Britain. The British ship was not damaged in any way, only the tea was destroyed in the protest. Okay, so that is our news article about the act of rebellion in Boston Harbor. So here we go. We're going to kind of go through what we just read and find the main idea. And remember, when we're switching it, all you guys have to do is click these 2 lines and click rotate. We want it to rotate counterclockwise, and then it's easier to type on it. So what was the main focus of our news story? So what was our topic? And our topic was the Boston Tea, Boston Tea Party on December 16th, 1773. Now, when they're saying expand on the main idea, these are kind of like the key details. So, what did they tell us about the Boston Tea Party? So, they told us a couple different things. They told us that colonists boarded ships. They told us that they threw the tea into the harbor. They told us it was a rebellion against the Tea Act, and they told us it was led by Samuel Adams. Okay, so those are just the key details that we read about today. What does precise words mean? All right, so precise word is usually a fact that you can find in here that has to do with a date or a time or a certain amount of things. So precise means exact. So if we go back, and I'm going to turn this clockwise, we've got a couple, we've got a couple different precise things. So if we're looking for numbers, it said Approximately 50 members. So approximately is not precise. That's a guess. It says, in a fairly orderly, quiet fashion, the men tossed 342 chests of Darjeeling tea in the sea. We could write that because that is a precise amount. If it is a fact that is a very, very specific detail, then we can add it to precise words. So we would put in here, and I'm going to grab my, I'm going to copy and paste it today. So I've got the precise wording, and I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to flip it, and I'm going to put that right with the text box right here, but I'm going to make sure it's in quotes because you're copying it. So you want to make sure that you're copying with quotes, and I'm going to press Control V and then quotes around it. Turn that all into one color somehow, some way, and one size. Okay. That is precise words. That's what they mean by it. So an exact fact. All right. What does it mean that is the article inverted? So if you remember correctly, an inverted pyramid was what we learned about on Friday, and it means that we've got something that starts with the most important information, that then has less important information, and then it also would have a lead sentence. Do we have a lead sentence? And is the title less than? Title has to be a certain amount of words, doesn't it? Yeah, 6 words or fewer. Okay, so let's make sure we've got this exact structure. So do we start with the most important information, and do we have 6 lines on our 6 words or less on our title? All right, so I'm going the wrong way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 6 words on our title. So we can put that in the new structure. We know we followed the structure here. So we have 6 words in the title. Let's go and see if we've got that lead sentence. On a cold night of December 16, 1773, a band of American colonists boarded British ships in Boston Harbor to fulfill a mission of protest against another English tax on the colonies. So they boarded the ship, and that is the most important part, and that's our lead because it's telling us a specific date. So we are starting for sure. Oopsies. We are starting with the most, oopsies, important issue, which was the protest. They actually boarded the ship. That was the most important part. And it has a quality lead is there. Let's see if it goes back and we do, ooh, this is tricky. Let's see if we have if we go to less important information. So if this is talking all about their mission, do we start going to less important information? So this is talking again about what the mission was. So we're still talking about it. Then it starts talking about why it happened. So we're getting less important only because we're not talking about the actual act anymore. We're talking about why it happened. But then it starts talking about the fact that after that happened, that Boston refused to allow the tea to be returned to England. So also not necessarily the most important part of this story. And then finally, the most important part of the story is that we know that the British ships were not damaged in any way, and that only T was destroyed. So we go from very detailed information about exactly what happened. We talk about why it happened, who was involved, and then what happened after. And then we talk about finally kind of like a summary of what happened, which is not that important as far as the pyramid. So yes, we go in, ooh, where am I going? We go in order. I'm gonna write that here. Lead is there. It goes from most important to least important information. So we're good there. Now, we also have to double check and make sure, does the news story avoid means like stay away from, repetitions, too much wordiness, or opinions? Okay. So, honestly, when I was reading it, I didn't feel like I was saying the same word over and over again. So I could say that it's not repetitious. Repetitious. Nope. Shus. Nope. Cious. Okay. I know I was doing wrong there. Okay, and then does it give an opinion or does it actually have precise facts? And really, they don't say whether or not it was a good thing, whether or not it was a bad thing. They don't say who was right, if it was the British king that was right, if it was the people who were dumping the tea, if they were right. So I would say that there's no opinion involved, which is a good thing when we're talking about expository. Okay, that's all I did was I came up with the main idea of what I read, the key details. I came up with some precise words that I found in it. So these are facts, not opinions. I came up with all the reasons why it's following the good structure of the pyramid. And I double checked to make sure that the story is avoiding repetition, is it avoiding expressive wordiness, and does it have an opinion? So tomorrow, I just want you to take these notes for today. Make sure these are in your file. But tomorrow, what you're going to do is you're going to read this one, Brothers Achieve First Flight, and you're going to fill in on your own these boxes down here. And then that is it, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Have a good one.